Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve, and I am here for the review of NXT. And yeah, this was a weird one. Apart from two matches, the rest are all squash. It really bugs me because I want to see longer matches. I don't want to see 2 minute squashes. Man, looking at the breakdown of the card, two of these matches didn't last longer than 2 minutes. Another two didn't last longer than 3 minutes. The Roderick Strong Championship match lasted 9 minutes, and the main event lasted probably 15 minutes or so. Yeah, just overall not thoroughly impressed. Let's go into the show. They start off with a recap of the whole first episode, which I thought was pointless. I was like, well, not being funny. You did it last week. A lot of people would have done it. And then as soon as they do that, they roll straight into the intro package, which is all full of clips from last week and some older stuff just for the new intro. And it was like, yeah, again, didn't even need all this. You've got half a dozen brand new superstars in the ring. Ciampa comes out and says basically, look at all these superstars, aren't they all shiny and new and blah, blah, blah. Grimes comes out. He says he wants a top. He wants a shot. Joe Gacy interrupts him for some reason. Don't know why. LA Knight comes out. Odyssey Jones tells him stop talking. Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland come out. Pete Dunne starts running his mouth. Says someone should take the first shot. Ciampa punches him, and it all just breaks out into a fight. It cuts backstage, and you've got Elektra Lopez and Kaylee Ray arguing with, I believe, B-Fab and Amari Miller. They start fighting. We then cut back to the ring, and you've got Bron Breakker and Ciampa still in the ring with Holland and Dunne. And then it ends up spilling, like those two spill to the outside, and then you've got Breakker and Ciampa, and Breaker's the one to issue the tag team challenge to Dunne and Holland, which I wasn't a fan of because I'm like, Ciampa is your champion. He should be the one doing the challenging. It shouldn't be the new guy. That was my sort of only qualm with this sort of intro was, yeah, you shouldn't be speaking on behalf of the champ. The champ should be able to do that for himself. But yeah, just chaos for sort of the first 5-10 minutes of the show. We get into the first match. Roderick Strong versus Kushida. It's an alright match, very basic. It's a lot of mat-based stuff. Strong wins via interference because of Diamond Mind. Again, not happy with that because I think Kushida didn't have a decent enough run because of his injuries. I don't feel he defended it as much as I'd like to have seen him do. But he then becomes a magician, disappears. Grayson Waller appears, challenges Strong to a match for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Bivens starts mocking him like a child, which I wasn't thoroughly impressed. Bivens is normally better than that. Say a lot better and well presented on the microphone. He basically has a one-to-one with Roderick Strong, and I believe next week we're going to get an NXT Cruiserweight match between those two. We then get another Tony D'Angelo video. For as cheesy it is, I really can't wait to see this guy because I'm really interested in the character. We then get Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs talking in a bar about how they met, and it keeps cutting to some weird CCTV of a sort of a redneck bar where they start fighting everyone, and it wasn't really, I really didn't need this in my life. We then get Kaylee Ray versus Amari Miller. Again, squash match, lasted less than 2 minutes, I believe, or a minute, or however long I couldn't be bothered to actually work it out because this was just a joke about tonight. It's all squash matches. I'm going to present this to you as how I saw this episode because for love nor money, I could not work out who half of these people were because half of them are new. We get someone entering the arena with two females. He opens the door to let the females in. Someone else, don't know who, decides to try and budge in front. He stops him and says, have you no manners, ladies first? And the other guy's like, chivalry's dead. So he then closes the guy that stopped him, closes the door after the lady's gone in, punches him, and then goes in. And it's like, I don't know who these people are. I have no context as to what's going on here. It's fair enough. We then get the debut of Dante Chen versus Trey Baxter. Again, this is a squash match. I thought it was funny when the commentary said, let's go back and watch some of the highlights, and the only one they've got is the finish to the match. We then get Andre Chase doing some sort of university class or whatever it is. He basically is kind of doing what Drew Gulak used to do when he used to do his PowerPoint presentations as to like wrestling and stuff, and explaining how Andre Chase lost last week. How Odyssey Jones lost last week. Yeah, very, say, Drew Gulak-esque. This wasn't impressed. We didn't get Joe Gacy in ring before his match with Cameron Grimes, and he is spilling out some weird stuff about peace, and it's almost as if he's meant to be like some sort of priest. Wasn't particularly impressed by it. I really wasn't intrigued by the promo. I just thought it was really weird. We then get that match, Joe Gacy versus Cameron Grimes. Again, it's a squash match. Grimes wins with a cave-in. Joe Gacy gets up and goes to shake his hand, and Grimes is a bit hesitant, but then Gacy hugs him and then walks off, and it's like, okay, fair enough. Next week, they've got the honeymoon of Index, so we see what happened with those two over the 2 weeks that they've not been on TV. We then get Elektra Lopez with Legado del Fantasma. She's taking on Anna Shear. I don't know if she's new or if she's a indie star or whatever. Lopez wins with a squash, strangely enough. They get on the mic afterwards. She calls out B-Fab. Hit Row come down. A fight breaks out. I almost feel like I'm talking about Raw at this point. It's very, very normal Monday Night Raw stuff. We then cut to Trey Baxter in the locker room after his loss. Cora Jade comes in and says, "Oh, what's wrong?" And he's like, "Oh, did you not see that I lost?" Cora Jade's like, "Oh, he's like some sort of superhero. Don't worry about it." And she gives him a kiss. And then you just look at Trey Baxter and he has a look on his face. It's like, a superhero. Maybe I can be the new Shannon Helms. I can be the new Hurricane. And I was like, oh, if this is what they're going with, man, this is... We then find out what's happening with the Raquel Gonzalez-Frankie Monet match. That's been moved to next week, so those two are going to finally have that match for the NXT Women's Championship. Can't imagine... no, I can't imagine Raquel's going to lose that, because it's probably going to be... No. Raquel could lose that, actually, because the draft is coming up the Friday and the Monday afterwards on SmackDown and Raw. So yeah, Raquel could lose next week, and we could see Raquel go up to main roster. Wouldn't be against that. I think Raquel's great, and that's what she deserves. It'd be nice to see say Frankie get a chance and see what she can do with the brand. Raquel walks off, and then we get someone else new. I believe her name is Chanel. She basically says that she's getting her new talk show from next week. Again, Monday Night Raw, Miz TV, and whoever else has hosted a TV segment on main roster, we now get another one starting next week. We then get a 2-on-1 handicap match. Odyssey Jones is taking on Carrie Millman and Darren Chiapetta. I presume that's how you pronounce it. It's not even a 2-on-1 tag match. Like, it's 2-on-1 at the same time. Odyssey Jones squashes him in 2 minutes or however long it is. He done a Roman Reigns. He stacked them, he squashed them, he pinned them. He does a dive off the top rope to both of them, pins them both, gets the win. This is great for Odyssey Jones, making him look strong. It's just the shortness of the matches, unfortunately. Andre Chase comes out after, and he attacks him with a chair, and Odyssey just breaks the chair with his hands as he catches it or blocks it or whatever he does. And yeah, cool. Fair enough. We then cut backstage. You've got Grayson Waller and two other randoms just having a conversation. Carmelo Hayes and Trent Williams walk out, and Carmelo says, "Oh, you could win the Cruiserweight Championship next week, and then you could lose it in the same night if I use this contract that I won for the breakout tournament, blah, 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 blah." Yeah, same old stuff. Waller and the other two walk off, and we then get Mandy, Gigi, and JC all walk past. And we get some good old-fashioned Vince McMahon stuff here. Some misogynistic pigs, like, just... Essentially, it was just wolf whistling at women as they walk past. This just screams Vince McMahon to me. You really don't need this in 21st century TV. Like, you really don't, because at some point, someone somewhere is going to critique it. I'm going to call it out now. You really don't need two guys treating them like they're eye candy. It's just, I don't think it's the right way to go with that. Mandy, Gigi, and JC head down to the ring. They are now a faction, and they are going by the name Toxic Attraction. They cut a promo, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't impressed with Mandy's promo, which is shocking, because for the more experienced superstar that's been on mainstream TV, that's been on pay-per-views and stuff like that, I felt she had the weakest promo at the three. Gigi and JC did okay. Like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great, but it was just an okay bit. But it was like, you have parts where Mandy's trying to justify the what, like there's a half-assed what chant going on with the crowd, and she's all like, oh, say what if you think I'm beautiful. And it was like, there's probably like 4 people saying what, so it was really not needed. Yeah, just I wasn't entirely impressed with Mandy in this promo, but same old spiel. They're going after the Women's Championship and the Tag Team Championships, and they have a match next week against Zoe Stark and Io Shirai for them Tag Team titles. It cuts backstage, and you've actually got Io and Zoe being interviewed, and they're still doing this whole champions that can't get along sort of dynamic, and Indy Hartwell's best friend enters the scene, and I was like, I actually don't know who you are. And she was like, well, when my best friend Indy gets back, we're going to want a shot at them tag team titles. And I'm like, I don't even know who you are. So to justify and have you say you're the best friend, really strange writing, really strange confusions again. Because like I said, I'm talking to you like how I found the episode, and it was just very strange, and like a lot of new faces that it was just so many to try and work out. I found it really hard this week. At some point during that, I think it was during the intro actually, there was an Mangero promo. I thought this was probably the funniest thing of the night, and it was stupid. It was Mangero doing a sort of mini MTV Cribs kind of thing where he's walking through his wardrobe showing his different outfits, and he goes, oh, I'm from Japan, so you expect strong style. No, I'm style strong. And I'm like, I laughed because I thought, oh yeah, it's a funny line, but it's stupid as hell. Like, it's really bad creative. And then onto the main event, Dunn and Holland versus Ciampa and Breaker. And yeah, the good match. It was, I don't know what it is. I know they're pushing Breaker to the moon, and I could appreciate that, but the match ends up with Kyle O'Reilly, who'd earlier announced they'd said he was unfit to compete. He comes out, he hits Ridge Holland with that truncheon that he carries around, and then Bron Breakker picks up the pinfall. He does his power slam, he does his powerlifting power slam to Holland of all people, and picks up the win. And then there's a confrontation between Breaker and Ciampa after, where Breaker is handing Ciampa his title, but he doesn't want to let go. Yeah, okay, I can understand why you're building Bron Breakker, but I don't know. I wasn't actually impressed by this week's NXT. So many matches, 7 matches, and 5 of them were squash matches. So in 2 hours of TV, I think you've had less than half an hour's worth of wrestling. Again, this just screams Monday Night Raw to me. I just really not impressed. I watched the whole show back, and yeah, all right, I can skip through the adverts, but I could have just literally missed it. I could have gone to YouTube and watched. I bet you now, if I go on YouTube and check their highlights page, or like check their channel, all their matches, like it'll be the full length, because 5 of them would say less than 3 minutes long. It's an absolute joke, man. And yeah, they need to fix this quickly, because I know with this new direction that it's not going to be like the old NXT where we're going to get 3 or 4 matches that are all going to be sort of 10-15 minutes long. But I think having 5 matches that are less than 3 minutes long, I think is a real insult to people, especially if you have to pay for the network or the subscription package, or whoever provides NXT for you to watch. I just think it's a big joke. And lucky for me, I get it for free because of like my phone contract. I get BT Sport in the UK here for free. But yeah, I just think I feel sorry for people that pay for BT Sport over here in the UK to watch that, because of how much you have to pay for it and how little entertainment there is in the value. I'm gonna stop ranting now anyway. Not very impressed this week, but yeah, hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one.